Welcome boys and girls, Costin here with a discussion about the Greenskins in Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires. They're a strong race, they're a thematic race to what they should be in the lore, and they work well for the most part within the context of the Warhammer 3 meta. And while Creative Assembly did introduce certain changes of Omens of Destruction, changes to research tree, changes to unit recruitment that were very good, nerfs to certain ridiculous things that they could do, like for instance every settlement in a Greenskin campaign would increase your local recruitment capacity, and now it's just provincial capitals. Yeah, that was a bit ridiculous. You do actually need to get buildings that increase local recruitment capacity to just recruit a vast amount of troops now. So some things were warranted, but I do believe that Creative Assembly could have done a better job with the Greenskins, be it their racial design or some of their campaigns that have been left behind. So let's actually talk about the campaign situation from my point of view. In terms of unique campaign mechanics, you have Gorbat and you have Grom. You also have, of course, Skarsnik being able to get stock stands for every single one of his armies, but that's not necessarily so much of a unique campaign mechanic, more so unique campaign effects in his campaign. You also have Warzag over here with the ability of getting rogue idols at your free through landmark that he has access to, as well as various other benefits that he has access to in his campaign. But the problem is, someone like Grimgor doesn't have a unique campaign mechanic. Azag doesn't have a unique campaign mechanic, and even Warzag and Skarsnik don't have unique campaign mechanics, just some unique campaign faction effects, really. Gorbat's campaign mechanic is fairly lackluster, and the problem for Grom is that while his campaign mechanic is very strong, it's a bit tedious to engage in, as well as the fact that Grom's starting position in Massive Oracle with just only a tier 1 settlement and dealing with unpleasant climate throughout the course of his campaign is not an especially great campaign system. When Grom was introduced, fantastic campaign. Nowadays in Warhammer 3, kind of the least interesting Greenskin campaign to play in Warhammer 3, and that's really disappointing considering how great he used to be. So I do think Creative Assembly does need to update the individual Legendary Lords, at least to the standard that Skarsnik is at, because they really did improve Skarsnik's campaign by quite a bit. He has stock stands inherently, and then he gets stock stands for every single one of his armies. And they also fixed the issue of orc recruitment in his campaign, provided you take Arcade Peaks. Another thing I wish to mention is like Gorbat's Ironclaw campaign mechanic, the plan does leave a lot to be desired. So I think some balancing, some tweaking with respect to that would very much be in order. That is one thing that I believe Creative Assembly could do. Don't get me wrong, someone like Grimgor is still a very strong and awesome Legendary Lord, even without the unique campaign mechanic. In fact, he's one of the best campaigns in the game, especially given the fact that he doesn't have a unique campaign mechanic, which says a lot about Grimgor. He is freaking terrifying. I mean, he gets a bunch of Black Orc big bosses, he gets even further Black Orc big bosses through a special skill line. He is a monster in combat, he gets campaign movement range after winning battles. He gets some unique Black Orc upgrades for them in his campaign. It's just pretty damn ridiculous when you start adding everything up in Grimgor's campaign. But it would be even more awesome if he did have some kind of unique campaign mechanic. That's my perspective, and I think that this would really be a win for Creative Assembly if they did introduce that kind of unique campaign mechanic situation for all the Greenskin Legendary Lords, or at least put them on the same level as Skarsnik. Another thing we gotta talk about with the Greenskins is the WA mechanic. So you look at a WA, you fight battles, you fill up the meter, you get a bunch of growth control, recruitment cost, wins of magic, and leadership benefits, and then you declare a WA. The stronger the target, the more benefits you're gonna get from a WA. That's great as a mechanic. The problem is it takes 20 turns to do a WA, and 20 turns in a Warhammer 3 campaign is ages. The benefits you get during a WA are significant, specifically the fact that you get these armies attached to all your regular armies. That's a great benefit. That allows you to punch way above your weight compared to many other factions. Like over here, if I want to take Zarnagrun, I'll just set up a little lovely ambush over here and wait for Gorf the Cruel or Syra to just march into Grimgor and then annihilate them. That is a significant level of power that you do have available with the WA. But it feels far more worthwhile to actually participate in a WA or build up to a WA and then get those benefits that you keep while a WA is active than to actually complete a WA. Like a WA itself, yeah, you get some construction cost benefits. Good. Greenskins get so much money, and this is only if you're doing it against a very powerful faction. Keep that aspect in mind. So I do think WAs should be more rewarding, maybe some kind of stacking benefits you get. Just throwing some ideas out there, maybe it should be a more dynamic campaign situation, because we certainly have campaigns, be it Arbol or Maneater or even Axial, which do have more dynamic campaign objectives. So I think that would be a better way of handling WA as opposed to a meter you fill up, then you declare a target, then you march with an overwhelming force for 20 turns, and that's kind of it. You'll probably only declare 1 or 2 WAs throughout the course of your entire campaign. In fact, there are people who argue, well, it's not even worth declaring a WA once you get the significant benefit over here, because why would you replace it, right? Why would you replace a very powerful benefit with a lesser benefit? And sure, the armies could be useful, but the actual rewards of the WA don't feel meaningful enough. So that is absolutely something that I think Creative Assembly could improve on, the way that the WA mechanic works. In other ways, I do think the research tree of the Greenskins is actually great because it focuses on different kind of useful units that you can get. So you can either focus on Orc research, you can focus on Goblin research, or you can focus on campaign research. So it is a research focus on all kinds of combat benefits with less focus on campaign benefits than other races. I think that's good. That does make the army situation better. And you are encouraged to diversify with the Greenskins, especially after Omens of Destruction update rework for the Greenskins. So they changed quite a bit. They gave us an extra barracks for Goblins. So now all Goblin units, including their Goblin Big Bosses, are now recruited from the Mushroom Distillery. Pretty good. You have Black Orc Barracks for old Orc units, and because Big Guns have been moved to Tier 2 and Black Orcs to Tier 3, you now have a significant incentive to recruit those kind of units in a campaign. One of the problems that existed for Greenskins for a very long time was that, yeah, you had a powerful unit roster, but you would just recruit a bunch of nasty Skulkers and Goblin Archers and just dominate with the campaign with that, because you could, even as Greenborn. But nowadays, if you're playing a Greenskin campaign, you can use a lot of Orcs, and you do have a lot of power with units, especially because of the scrap upgrade. Like, you look at Orc-Borg Biggins, they're not a fantastic cavalry on their own. But when you start to consider the fact that you're going to get combat research in a Greenskin campaign, then you have the scrap upgrades. You're looking at these guys getting like 40 armor, charge bonus versus large. That makes them a substantially better unit than they would be by default. So that's good. Absolutely. Fantastic. Gets the job done. Really effective. No complaints on that subject. The problem that exists in terms of unit recruitment, or rather, it's rather with hero recruitment. So unit recruitment is mostly fine, but the issue is with certain heroes in a campaign. So Goblin Big Bosses, Black Orcs, all well and good. And Gyro River Troll Hags, they increase capacity at Tier 3. But here's the issue. You have 2 heroes, or actually 3 heroes, that you can only increase capacity at Tier 4. And that is absolutely annoying. Because these are great heroes and you'd want to use more of them, but you have limited quantity. So first off, you have the Squid Cages with the Night Goblin Big Boss. You can only increase Night Goblin Big Boss capacity at Tier 4. Now these guys give you campaign movement range, which is pretty important for Greenskins, but even these guys are not necessarily the biggest problem in a campaign. It's rather the Orc Shamans. So Shamans are your casters. You do have a Caster Lord with Omens of Destruction, and thankfully is a Caster Lord that also allows your Orc Infantry to be far more viable. They really push this idea of making Orc units far more viable with Omens of Destruction, because again, nasty Skulkers were just freaking ridiculous. So that's good, but the problem is, it was already the case that if you're playing an Orc campaign or a Greenskin campaign, you would never want to recruit a Night Goblin Shaman. And now that's been further pushed because you now have a limited amount of Shamans you can get, especially in this part of the campaign that's significant. Because, spoiler alert, Greenskins play fast-paced campaigns, fast-paced aggressive campaigns, where the victory or failure of that campaign is decided very early on. And so you will want to pretty much recruit the better shamans. Like, if you want the Night Goblin Shaman, there's a lore choice that's very cheap, so you could just have a bunch of Goblin Great Shamans. They have their own benefits, but I do think the caster situation that they have over here could be further improved. Giant River Troll Hags are also practically useless as a unit in a battle. Like, literally, the only reason you recruit these guys is not even for their magic. Like, Lore of Death, it's not too bad, but, you know, the wand magic is just better, and their combat ability is not great. You literally recruit, like, if not for the fact that these are the only guys who give you casualty replenishment in a Greenskin campaign, you would not bother recruiting them. Plain and simple on that subject. So I do think some kind of improvements in regards to Greenskin magic could be in order across the board. At least you can get a bunch of Giant River Troll Hags. You can't say the same about Shaman. So that's something I would like to see improvement. It is also a bit annoying that it takes 6 turns to get a Black Orc Barracks. That's a bit long. Like, cost-wise, it is a bit costly, but it's just that length. I understand that they want us to not just spam Black Orcs, but you kind of don't want to do so anyway. So just a couple of annoyances here and there. But yeah, overall, Greenskins do work. Don't get me wrong. If Creative Assembly does not do any kind of update for Greenskins going forward, it will be fine as they'll be fine as a race. But I do think that these kind of issues should be addressed. I think Gorbat's campaign should be addressed. I think Grom's campaign should be addressed. And it would be nice to have Azag and Grimgore having any campaign mechanics. That's all I had to say. Christine signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications. Stay tuned for more.